course, a delivery driver pulled up right now and is going to see me talking to a plant looking like a crazy person. Don't make eye contact, Jacqueline. Just don't do it. Hi there, dreamers. Welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, hello. I'm Jacqueline. Great to meet you. Glad you're here. Consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell if you are also into houseplants and Hoyas. That's what this channel is all about, and I'd love to have you here more often. Today we are doing a Hoya trellising video. I'm very happy to be sharing this information with you. So if you are excited about learning more about trellising your Hoyas, the best ways to go about doing that, and maybe some things to avoid, click that like button down below. That's a great way to support my channel. Any interactions you have with my videos help me tremendously, so thank you so much in advance for everything you do for me. Really appreciate you. I decided that the easiest thing to see would be the simplest plant I have to trellis, just for a matter of teaching, for a matter of being able to have the best view of what's going on, so there's not too many vines getting in the way. A lot of them have done just fine, but something that truly stunted the progress of my Hoyas every single time was something I had no idea about until I saw someone else's video, and I want to credit them because I did not come up with this information on my own, and I think it's only fair to share the credit. So they're called Unsolicited Plant Talks. I didn't know they had a YouTube. I knew it as a Hoya store. They made 1 or 2 videos regarding trellising Hoyas, and they're incredibly long. They're very, very informative, and I would encourage you, if you're looking for more information, to go watch those after this video. I will try to link them for you. Today we're going to trellis what was sold to me as a Hoya Ben Nagong Nagoy. This, I discovered while doing research for the Hoyas I was selling, may have been mislabeled, and as we know, Hoyas can technically only be identified by their flowers, so I'm just guessing here, but the pictures I pulled up for Hoya Hot Som Pain, a lot of the pictures look just like these leaves. Anyway, this guy is ready to be trellised because you can see this active growing vine. It's probably going to wait to put effort and energy into growing the leaves until it has some support. So I figured this would be a perfect contender. Let me show you the supplies I have for today. I have a bunch of these little orchid clips or plant clips. I want to say you can get a bag of like 100 of them for $7 or $8 on Amazon. I'm sure there are other places too, but that's where I've purchased them. 2-foot bamboo hoop. You don't have to use a hoop. I like to use the hoop. We'll get into more why here in a second. But what I'm going to do just to start off is place it so that it's alongside where I would like the Hoya to be able to climb up. I say that we're just going to insert this, and this part is scary for a lot of people. We're going to be pressing this in. We may do some root damage, but that's okay. A certain amount of root damage is actually healthy for a plant as long as it is healthy to begin with. So if your plant is struggling, if your plant is showing some signs of stress, maybe wait to trellis it, just because we are going to cause some root damage. So we don't want to cause a plant unnecessary stress when it can't handle it. I'm just going to slide that in. Sometimes these hoops are a little uneven on the ends. They can be slightly off, so sometimes one will hit the bottom of the pot and the other won't. I've got it in there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to train this vine to go around the trellis counterclockwise. They naturally twine around things in a counterclockwise direction, so if you're going to help them, you got to do it the same way they do it. The other thing that's important to note, and that you can kind of see from this close-up here, is you can see the coloration difference between this vine from this node down and from this node up. This is all fresh new growth. It is far more pliable and bendy, whereas down here it has some flexibility, but it really has already decided its shape. Once these stems begin to harden off, they become less pliable, meaning they become less encourageable for trellising. So depending on the size of the Hoya, depending on the size of the vine, it can become impossible to trellis something past a certain point of maturity. So you can always chop and prop if you feel comfortable with the plant. If you feel comfortable cutting your plant and you really want to change the growth pattern, you do have the option to chop your plant, propagate it, and then plant it back in. That's not always advisable, but that is an option if you would like to change something. If I were to go around this way, it would be clockwise, so counterclockwise is this way. I have no trouble with counterclockwise and clockwise in other applications, but for some reason for me, this whole vertical element really throws me off. I have done this incorrectly and had to redo it so many times. I'm deciding where I want to put my first clip. I like to clip my first kind of attachment point, if you will, relatively close to where it makes contact with the trellis, just so that it starts to recognize that it's there. I'm not trying to pull it really tightly to that, because what you can do is cut off essentially some of the life to the vine if you pull it too tightly. So you want to be gentle, and I clip it there, and then I'll probably skip a node or two and then clip it again up here. And what's nice about these clips too, for this size of bamboo stock, is that with these thin stems, it's not really pressing on the vine when you clip them in place. So that's really helpful. And I do find that when you're going up in size of these bamboo stakes, you probably will have to opt for more like plant Velcro. Tiny little piece here. Plant Velcro is exactly what it sounds like. It is Velcro for plants. It's very helpful for trellising. If you get to a point where these clips are not the correct size anymore, I'm sure they sell larger clips. I don't have them. Use the soft side towards the plant. You can undo it if you need to. You can adjust as you see fit, and it's reusable. I like to keep the clip relatively away from the growth point, because I find the closer we clip to the active growing point of the vine, the more likely it is that it will die back. I don't know why exactly that is. Maybe it's just incredibly more fragile than I give it credit for, but I just try to let it have some room to be wild. Something I did not know, something that I was truly ruining my Hoyas doing, and that is allowing it to grow pointed towards the ground. When this Hoya reaches the top of this trellis, I will be not securing it any further. I will only allow it to go up. I will let it grow on its own, kind of unassisted, until it is long enough to where the end will not only be able to circle down, but will be able to come up again. Because if you direct any new growth on a Hoya downward, it will kill it off. There are actually some exceptions to this rule. Some Hoyas do not need to be trellised. In my experience, those Hoyas are Hoya bella, Hoya species affinity Burtonnae, Hoya nummulariioides, Hoya Hindu rope, Hoya memoria. These are Hoyas that either have not needed to be trellised or have done better without a trellis. After learning this information and undoing some of the trellises where I saw this was definitely an issue, I re-trellised them to where the ends are able to be free and not pointed down. They all start growing. So the crazy thing that you didn't know you were going to learn today is that Hoyas have a sense of gravity, and it makes them suicidal. It's fascinating to me that that Hoyas have a sense of orientation. Okay, say for example, I allowed this to grow and I kept twining it and let it go down like this. Eventually what would happen is this vine would dry up, or it would harden off with no leaves on it, and the next place it would grow would be the last place where it was actually facing upward. So the last node that was actually directed up towards the sky, away from the ground, would be where it would activate next. And I can tell you that because I have experienced it time and time again. Key things we learned today. Trellis only when the plant is already happy and healthy. We don't want to kill roots on a plant that's struggling. Counterclockwise is your friend. Gentle with your clips. Give it some space. Training your Hoyas, meaning you want to do this when they are still pliable and before they have matured and hardened. And the last thing is not allowing your vines to point down. The plant I was talking about that put off super long vines with no leaves on them whatsoever is this plant right here, this tall trellis here. That's my Hoya affinis. And now it's been about a month since I adjusted its accommodations to fit its needs, and it is really, really springing back to life. So just know that if you have made mistakes in trellising your Hoyas, they can be undone. I have had to retrellis several of my Hoyas, and while it is painstaking and frustrating, it is salvageable. You can fix these mistakes if you feel that you've made them. There's a big old leaf right there. It's working on leaves here. It's working on leaves over here, on this vine over here. Let me know, what was the most helpful bit of information you got from this video today? I would love to know what was new information to you, or if you have additional information to share with us, please let me know in that comment section down below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching this video. The biggest way you guys help my channel is by interacting and by watching videos all the way through, so thank you in advance if you did. If you watched this video all the way through, let's do something different this time. Let's do some sort of flower emoji if you made it all the way through. And if you did, thank you. You're the best. If you have not subscribed already, consider doing that. I would love to have you hear more. I hope you're having a wonderful day or evening wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.